I don't know why I'm dancing. Just I have no clue. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? What's going on? 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Hi, everyone. How was the cat? Oh my God, how's the cat eating with egusi? 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. It was good. I'm telling you. Like, yeah, I almost passed out on Tuesday. But it can't even wait. Like, what? I had no clue that we were pet eating people. Well, then again, hi, Miss Abena. Hi, Miss Elena Sanctuary. Do y'all eat? Yes, I really did enjoy the cat. The cat meat with egusi soup. Um, I really did enjoy the egusi soup. I mean, why wouldn't? I mean, why not? Did y'all not enjoy the one that you ate? Cause I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that we came from another country to kidnap and steal pets so we can eat them. Now, hold your judgment, but for real, there are some countries and culture that may eat like dogs. I've not heard of cats, but I just didn't know that that's what immigrants come to the U.S. to do. Um, that guy is high on something. I don't know what, but he's Mr. Sanctuary. He's certainly high on something because like what is he doing? Boy, I thought I was hearing did he actually say that Haitian their immigrants coming into Ohio and eating like how low can you go? Like how low do you even talk about people? These are people. And for someone whose mother was an immigrant, for someone who's married to women that are immigrants, right? Make it make sense. But anyway, I was gonna ask y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. He's stealing geese. I don't know what else. What next we're going to steal? For a country that was built on the backs of immigrants, it's amazing. But if anything, exactly, his wife is an immigrant. His first wife was an immigrant. Like, make it make sense. But if there's anything that we need to take away from this, it is the fact that if you are a citizen, please do not sit home in November, because this is the craziness that immigrants are going to be facing. We already know how things are going. I mean, if you watch the debate, I think Madam Vice President Harris won that hands down because that guy was just all over the place. You can almost guarantee that visa bans will be back in swing. So don't sit this out. Y'all have to. We all of us God has given the privilege to be citizens. We all have to go out and vote. Don't think my neighbor's going to vote that. No, we're all going to do it. If you want to change, be part of the change you want to see. Well, hi everyone, come on in. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale. Yeah, we know that sanity and integrity is lost. Listen, I don't even. Truth be told, and you can take this anywhere. And whatever you want to believe, that's on me. But truth be told, do we really think that if Kamala Harris is the one that's got 34 felony convictions as a Black woman in America, do y'all really think that they won't have found a way to make sure she's not running? Like, seriously? I didn't even know that there was some kind of loophole, something where a convicted felon can still run for office, albeit the highest office of the United States. Here we are. So you can imagine if people are willing to put someone like that back in office. That says a lot about this country that we call home. But anyway, it is what it is. Once again, this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale, immigration attorney. My office is based in Alabama, Demopolis, Alabama, but we do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. So it doesn't matter what state you live in, we can represent you. So just let us know if you want us to take over your case, we can. We will be glad and honored and privileged to work this immigration journey with you. Thank you for the grant rules. So if you are just joining us for the first time, please let us know where you're joining in from, what state, what country, and welcome. And if you're just joining for the first time, please note that I tried the best I can to, because the truth be told, I don't have to do this. We do this so we can all come together and talk immigration. And I'm still really, really on the fence about starting a group, which I think, because if I do something, I always commit myself to it, and I just don't want to burn myself out with everything I have ongoing in being a full-time mom and then being a full-time attorney. But we'll see how things go. But anyway, I try to get as many questions, high epic movements, as possible, but please do not repeat the questions. Put your questions in the comment section, not in the question box. I would not open that. Put your questions in the comment section, and we'll get to that at the end of the topic that we want to talk about. And so that's how this goes. If you need to contact our office, our contact information is 334-341-4475. Website is olalealawfirm.com. info@olalealawfirm.com. So we'll be glad to represent, like I said. Once again, it doesn't matter what state you live in. Well, where's those states that immigrants really don't go? I've heard it saying that if an immigrant wants to know if a country or state is conducive for immigrant, if there's no Nigerian there, that means you shouldn't go there. I don't know if there's a compliment or something. I don't know. But it doesn't matter what state you live in. We can represent you in your immigration case. 334-341-4475. Please like, share, follow, subscribe at Olale Immigration and all platforms. And let's continue to build our, it's a, what they're calling a movement, so that we can educate other people and spread the word. Alaska, are there Nigerians in Alaska? Like I would fall out my chair if they're immigrants, Nigerians in Alaska. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Please don't tell me it's cats and dogs. And you look what the no, please don't tell me that. But anyway, all right, people, let's talk immigration. And as Miss Eleanor Sanctuary would say, welcome to the most positive space on social media, social space, something along those lines. Come on, there are a lot of immigrants in Georgia coming in from you're joining in from Chicago, or you're saying, hello, Mr. Kelvin, how are you? But anyway, let's talk immigration, people. So put your questions in the comment section, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Joining in from Maryland, welcome in. Welcome. We do this every Tuesday and Thursdays, most Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if I'm not going to be in town or something, then you guys would know. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Everybody else, I don't know. But anyway, let's talk immigration. What we're talking about tonight: visa numbers and bulletin. Visa numbers and bulletin. If you want to see, I'm going to be showing a couple of charts. So if you want to see that, then you have to go on YouTube or Facebook. I don't know how to share whatever on. I'm doing good, Mr. Kelvin. How are you doing on TikTok and Instagram? Okay, good news for, because I do quite a bit of, I talk more family immigration because that's where a lot of people fall into. And the majority of my clients in employment based are organizations, institutions. So I can't really talk about those because that's just part of what I signed. That's contract, right? But I also represent self-petitioners who are not being sponsored by the employers. And so because of that, I am also invested in knowing when the visa bulletin moves some so that employment-based self-petitioners or employer-sponsored cases will be able to file, the applicants will be able to file their green cards whenever the priority date becomes current. So that's what we're talking about, visa numbers and bulletin. So let me start with what is the whole point of a visa number and bulletin, right? Each month, the U.S. Department of State, which covers, embassies and visa issues generally, releases what we call a visa bulletin, right? The visa bulletin governs when people who fall within the preference categories can apply for their immigrant visas and or adjust status in the United States. So preference category, everybody is a preference category unless you are an immediate relative of a citizen. So spouses of citizens, minor children under the age of 21 of citizens, parents of citizens. If you don't fall within that category, then you are preference category. Some people do not have to wait for visa numbers. Like if you're granted what's it called, asylum, you've granted us that you have asylum status, that is, you file for your green card. Now you can file less than a year, but you cannot adjudicate the case until you've acquired physical presence. So that's different. But majority of people who are not immediate relatives or immediate relatives fall within the preference category for family and or employment. That's where the visa bulletin comes into play. So each month, the Department of State has allocated a set number of visa numbers. So every immigrant visa that is issued at the embassy, every green card that is issued when you adjust status has a visa number that is attached to it. A lot of people don't know that, but that's what it is. So each month there is a visa number that is, if you are married, married to a citizen, you're exempt for, there's no cap on the number of visas for people who are immediate relatives. If you're not an immediate relative, then you've got a set number each month, each year that they can use for each preference category. So you have F1, you've got F2A, F2B, F3, F4, EB1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So and each month, it even progresses or regresses. It just depends on what's going on that month, depending on the number of visas they have to be able to issue for each preference category, right? It's been especially for employment-based categories, it's been so backlogged to the point of where September this month, EB3 regressed back to 2020. And USCI, so a lot of people are in the country trying to adjust. And that's another thing. You have to make sure you're eligible to adjust. USCIS uses either the final action chart or the dates for filing chart. Each month, USCIS decides what chart they're going to be using. For the longest time this year, many months, God knows, at least 6 months, they've used the final action chart. So if you want to see my chart, you've got to go come on Facebook or YouTube, so you can see that and why this matters for those. Because I am excited. Like, y'all don't even know how many NIW cases I have pending since last year and this year. We have approvals, can do nothing. Everyone is just waiting on priority date to become current. So, for instance, let me share. Okay, so present. Let me see if I can do it. Share your screen. Okay, where is it? Okay, right here. Okay, so if you're on Facebook or YouTube, let me know if you're able to see my screen. Somebody let me know on Facebook or YouTube. Hello, Miss Delvo, how are you? Yeah, eating cats and dogs, right? Somebody let me know on Facebook or YouTube. Can you see my screen? Yes, no, help. Somebody, anybody? Because I can see that y'all, at least 20 people are on. 20 people. Somebody, anybody? No? So anyway, I will wait. Perfect. Thank you, Miss Tracy. All right. Thank you, Miss Evel. All right. So if you go on, so each month, like I said, if you see this, where I'm showing, this is the USCIS website. USCIS, and if you're still on Instagram, that's fine. So, but you can't see it on Instagram. You've got to come on YouTube or Facebook. But I'll tell you what I'm showing. USCIS each month decides what chart, either the final action dates for filing chart or the dates for filing chart. One of the two is what they use. So because USCIS for employment category has used the final action dates for many, many months, and that chart just keeps regressing because they finally, for the month of September, for instance, there are no more visas to issue, especially for employment-based. Like they're done. They've exhausted all the visa numbers for the month. So there's probably not going to be, you can still file if your priority date is current, but there will not be any more approvals for the month of September. That's just what it is, because they don't have any visa numbers anymore to assign to whether or not you are applying for an immigrant visa at the embassy or you're adjusting status here. There's got to be a visa number attached to that visa or the green card, because the green card is a visa. It's just that you have a card, and then when you come in with an immigrant visa, you're given a green card as well. So for the month of September, as you guys will see as I'm moving around this, USCIS was still using for family-based, they use the dates for filing. For the month of September, when it comes to employment, right here, employment filings, they were using the final action charts for September 2024. Now, if we go to, all right, so that's that, right? But okay, so let me go back there. If you see that they use that for September, come down here for the month of October, employment-based USCIS. Okay, thank you, Miss Peggy. Is going to be using dates for filing charts in October. Big difference. Back in September, right here, they were using the final action charts. When it come October 1st, they will be using. Let me go back here. October 1st, they're going to be using the dates for filing charts. Why does that matter? Let me show you why it matters. Okay, so let me share. All right, so let me go to September. This is September visa bulletin, right? You're going to see that. So let me scroll down. Why this matters is this: when you look at, so for the family sponsored, they give or take, there isn't much difference, right now, because they're still going to be using the dates for filing, and that continues for October. But for employment-based categories, USCIS has been using for at least 6 months this year the final action chart right here, as you saw in the previous slide, in the previous screen, right? For EB1 has been current for most countries except China and India. But EB2 category and EB3 is where a lot of people fall under. So you've got the EB3 right here. In September, they actually regressed to December 2020. Almost 3 years, it's almost 4 years backwards for EB3. For EB2, they've been stuck between February and March. There hasn't been much movement because USCIS has been using this final action dates for employment-based category. So that's that for September. Here's where it gets really, really interesting. For the month of, when October 1st comes around, this is what's going to happen. USCIS is going to be using the dates for filing chart, like I showed you in the very first screen. Dates for filing chart, and when you come, so for family sponsored, they're using dates for filing, so they'll be working on cases like, for instance, the F2A. If you are the spouse of a green card holder, minor child of a green card holder, F2A, and that's great. But for a lot of my clients that I've got some NIW cases that have been approved since March of last year, some since May of last year. People trying to just hold on to some kind of status because you can't be out of status more than 180 days for you to still be eligible to apply for green card. Here is where my excitement was when I saw the chart. Yes, it was like, yeah. Okay. So remember the previous screen, September, they were using the final action chart dates. And for that month, for this month of September, They're stuck in March 2023 for EB2. They're stuck in December 2020 for EB3. In October, this is the October visa bulletin, as you can see right here. So meaning starting October, and you've got a pending EB2, EB3. EB3 moves forward a bit. I mean, compare December 2020, it jumped into March 2023. That is 3.5 years. But the great, for most of my clients that, I mean, I was really excited to send my mass emails out. Like, okay, people, we're going to be filing your green card applications now. I have a guy who is just been, he started his PhD program. He wants to do it at his own pace. And he wants to do it where he's, you know, he doesn't have the restriction of you have to pay tuition at the center. So not knowing that October 1st, we're able to submit that for him, and he's got to just take his time. I mean, that's what I live for. So starting in October, remember the previous screen was March. USCIS is jumping to August 2023 for EB3, EB2. That's a 6 months progression. So imagine everyone that's been waiting, whose priority date has been between March and July 31st. Everyone within that group, within that time frame, will be able to file their green card application starting October 1st. That is, well, except you are from China and India. Yeah. So I didn't make this. It's not me. It's not. So that is the excitement on, and that's why the visa bulletin matters. So the visa bulletin is what determines when preference category applicants can submit their green card applications, meaning when you can file your I-485 or when you can apply for your immigrant visa at the embassy. That determines, so if you're this date basically is the way you can apply this date is look at your underlying petition. So an I-140, I-130, what is the date that USCIS received that application, that petition? That's basically your priority date. In the case where you file a perm application, though, meaning your employer sponsored you for an employment petition, the priority date is going to be the date that your perm application was submitted to the DOL, Department of Labor. So that, for instance, you file your perm application, December 2021, it gets certified. Whenever you file your I-140, USCIS is going to, so you file the perm application December 2021, it gets certified. You don't file your I-140 until, well, there's a limit, but you don't file until September 2024. Even if you're filing it just now, USCIS, when you get your receipt notice, is going to have December 2021 as your priority date. So that date, so that's one difference when it comes to EB2 category or EB3 as well. So that date that USCIS puts on the underlying petition as the receipt date is the date you now compare to this visa bulletin, and that will determine when you can file your green card application. And that's the correlation between the visa numbers and visa bulletin. So the visa numbers for each category, the Congress has allocated specific numbers for each category for each fiscal year. For the 2023-24, is that the fiscal year we're just finishing this month? Yes, they're done with visas, no approvals. They don't have any more visa numbers. Starting October 1st, they're starting all afresh for the new fiscal year 24-25. So that's why they have a whole lot more visa numbers to issue, and that's why a lot of people will now be able to file their green card applications and or file their immigrant visa applications at the embassy. And that's all she wrote. Like, Auntie, you're a jump mama. Like, how do you remember all of this? Well, if you're always like, you don't go to bed till like 4, sometimes 4 a.m., 3 a.m., this is what you do. That's it. So I hope that helps. I hope, if you don't have the employment-based bug like I do, because y'all know, I'm a nerd. What can I say? It is what it is. But because I know today was crazy, and my sister was like, what's going on? Like, well, yesterday we had because our phone line was just going crazy because I had people who've been waiting on some traction so we can file green card applications and people can just be out of status. No, not be out of status, but it can get off the F1. I had someone who had to do change the status to B1, and she had to extend it because with employment based, you cannot be out of status for more than 180 days. If not, then you can't apply for your green card in the country. You're going to have to leave. And if you're a current lawful presence, you have to do a waiver. And it's a whole lot of it's a whole production. So just know that people don't have to keep waiting, and they can actually apply for their green cards now. It's a blessing. And that's all sure, people. Hope that helps. If you need to watch this again and the application of what, when to file, this will be up on YouTube and Facebook, so you can replay that whenever you want to. Okay, that's all sure, people. Let's get to questions. Let's get to questions. Let me hide this. All righty. All right. How long does an I-130 usually take to be approved? All right. So, Renisha, anything about how long processing times, please go on uscis.gov/processing time. That's where you need to go to be able to find out how long something is going to take. So let me put it on here, USCIS, because that's people, a lot of people get that update from USCIS saying, in approximately 2 weeks more. Then you wake up the next day, they tell you approximately 3 months. You're going to drive yourself crazy. But the best thing to do is to go on their website, the uscis.gov/processing times. Right here. So right there, that's where you go. So any question about how long something is going to take, that's where you have to go look for it yourself. All right, let me start on TikTok. So put your questions in the comment section. Please do not repeat questions. If you repeat that, I'm going to skip it. Someone says, how rude. It's a very simple instruction. So it makes it a lot easier for other people to have, but it's a very simple instruction. Let's see. Hello, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. How are you? Longest time. How have you been? Okay, let's see. Make sure this thing is not dark. Okay. There are people from Ohio saying that it is happening. Well, I don't know of anybody who's kidnapping people's cats and dogs and eating them. I don't know. I can verify it. It just doesn't make any sense. But hey, how long does it take to receive the approval? Once again, USCIS.gov website. But for VAR cases, I think, because I checked that today, I believe they're at 40.5 months. What's 40.5 months converted to years? I don't know. Whatever that is. Okay. Trump is taking over. Go somewhere else with that craziness. So, not here. Let's see. How do you? It's crazy. Okay, there we go. Toodles. Bye. Alrighty, there we go. You gotta love the blocking. It's right. It just y'all don't have to worry. They already, they've been blocked. Good night to them. My smile times 2. Thank you. Why after sending in an I-130 you still ask for W-2? I didn't ask for it. I guess you're talking about USCIS. I can't talk to why they're sending you a request for evidence. Well, obviously you didn't send in what should have been sent in, so I can't speak to what it is. The reason why they're asking you for specific information in the document. My wife is filing for me. She has a criminal record that has been expunged. Does it affect? Well, I'm assuming you're asking if it affects her filing on your behalf. Generally, your petitioning spouse's criminal record does not affect their eligibility to file for you unless the crime they were convicted of, whether or not it's expunged, is a sex offense that falls within the Adam Walsh Act. Basically, generally, that's an offense against minor children. And most of them usually required to register as a sex offender. If it's an offense that falls within that act, then most of the time they will be precluded unless they can show rehabilitation. They're not a risk to the beneficiary. There's a lot, but I can count on one hand how many people, those kind of cases. I hardly have them, but when I get like someone has a note and a come, I can count on one hand how many times it's been approved where you're able to overcome that. Is really hard. But other than a crime that falls within the Adam Walsh Act, generally nothing else, or anything that has to do with threatening the national security of the country. Anything else? No, really, no. Robbie G7973, passing through, love your hair. Thank you. I have a pending case. I don't have a question. Just want to say I've learned a lot from you. Thanks, Matula. Thank you. That's one of the reasons why I do this. What is best, fiance visa or marriage visa? The fiance visa now is taking a much shorter time. Especially if obviously you have to be a citizen first. Only citizens can file for K1 visa petitions. So if you're a citizen and you've met your fiance at least once before, within the 2 years before filing, that's taking a much shorter time than the spousal visa. Spousal visa advantage that I see is just that everything is completed at the embassy level. So they come in with the immigrant visa, and then you don't have to go through your application and all that. They pay the application fee for the green card and then send to them. But the fiance visa is taking a much shorter time. So if your priority is for your fiance to come into the country earlier, as soon as you want them to, then that's probably going to be the route to go. I have an I-751 pending since November 2021. Nebraska, is that normal processing time? You'll be able to put in your number, and it will tell you whether or not your case is not outside normal processing time. Filed I-130 since September 2022. No approval yet. Any help? It depends on where you filed it, if they're going to be scheduling for an interview, how backlogged your field office has got jurisdiction over your case is. There's a whole lot that goes into that. So there's no telling whether or not that's known. I have a niece who turns 19 next year, and I want to file for her as a citizen. So what's your question? My last hearing interview just got postponed to 2027. Is there a way to bring it back to 2024? You can always file. I'm assuming you are in court. So if you file a motion, if you have a lawyer representing you, talk to your lawyer about that. If not, consult with one. I have already finished my individual hearing. Now waiting result. Is it possible for grant asylum? I don't know. I wasn't at your hearing, so I don't know. Thank you, Macy. After fingerprint for asylum, what is the timeline for work authorization? So if you have an asylum case, you're able to file your work authorization when your asylum case has been pending for 150 days. So basically 5 months after the received date on your asylum application notice. If you have a 2-year green card and spouse is telling you you must give him all your paycheck, what's your question? See how very, very quick that went, people, without repeating questions. So thank you. Can a person file for citizenship at the 3 years mark of having a green card based on abuse through U.S. spouse? So if you got your green card through VAWA, which is the 360, or if you're getting it through a 751 VAWA, then you still qualify to file for citizenship after you've been a green card holder for 3 years, whether or not you're still married to the spouse. Okay. Hey, Miss Savannah, thank you. And remember to share, people. So please share, like, follow, subscribe, share. You just never know. See, someone says we learned a whole lot. You just never know. Um, I want to file with my girlfriend next year. When my date becomes current for EB2, when do you advise that we get married before we can file? I assume that you have an EB2 that's been a petition that's been approved, an I-140 that's been approved. And if that's the case, I can't tell you when to get married. Well, what you need to know is you need to get married before you become eligible to file your, or before you file your application for adjustment of status, or if you're outside the country for your DS 260 immigrant visa application. Let's see. Do you have an idea of backlog for employment visa EB2 Lagos? I don't. Hey, Miss Pinky, how have you been? How is life as a green card holder? I'm sure each day you still, because her story is a testimony in its own. I'm sure you wake up each day, you're like, I can still believe this. I still can't. I remember when we went for her interview. I'm sure. And they were like, and we're gonna. I was like, no, we've already dealt with this issue at the VAL level. We're not here to relitigate the issue. No, if this has been handled at the VAL level, so there's no basis to relitigate this. You've got to have an attorney to speak up for you, because if not, USCIS is going to play you around, and especially if you have no attorney, they will. But if you have someone who knows exactly how the process goes, you're not relitigating something that's already been litigated. Now we ain't doing it. Either you're going to approve it or whatever you want to do, and if we have to get the Congress man and woman involved, like we did in her case, okay, so be it. But we ain't gonna. They've already approved the VAL case. Let's move on. So next, what's next? I'm telling you, those people are probably tired of like, auntie, this woman can fight. Oh well, it is what it is. How long before when an I-290B? I-290B generally, well, it depends on what it is, what it's based on. But if you see something that's pending more than 2 years, yeah, that's usually that's usually my suggestion for my clients. Like that's the max for me. Where like it's time to file something for them to take action in your case. I was a cat eating with liquid. Is there anything you can do for someone that was deported before? I don't take cases where someone has already been deported. I don't take cases after that. Now they're selling geese. It's not funny because it's really insulting. And the thing is, now let's see what I was going to say. That's okay. Let's leave that alone. My guy is high in glucose syrup, because how do you come up with stuff? And his running mate also is coming up with the same thing. It's like, how you even just look at a group of people and just conclude that they're the ones who are here committing the crimes. And if I do criminal defense in Alabama, and I've done criminal defense almost 10 years now. In almost 10 years of practicing criminal law, albeit in a smaller town, but in my states, statistically, I think the percentage of, and I don't quote me, but in my county for sure, I'll tell you, my circuit for sure, I don't think that's even been up to, or I can count on my hand how many times I've been appointed or retained to represent someone who's undocumented. Many more of those who may be immigrants actually have green cards, and they hardly do you even get cases like that. And statistically, there's less than 0.1% or so that are immigrants that are committing. Because once it's someone who's undocumented or immigrant commits a crime, it makes national news. You would think that's the only group of people, but it's just because one case gets blown out of proportion. They blow, you think the whole world is going to know because the person is an immigrant. But then if you look at the prison system, 99.999% of those in prison are American-born citizens. But you have someone like that who makes it, who makes it look like all crimes being committed in the United States are by immigrants. Yeah. But anyway, it's not fair that I don't get to understand the gist from your friend and make it work for someone. Mr. Bennett, you have to convert to. You're already in the process of converting to a Nigerian. So just choose the Yoruba tribe, or ask Miss Edna Sanctuary. She'll help you. But the thing is, the lady who does our social media posting, she's not obvious. She's not Nigerian, so I have to be the one to translate. Then for me, it's like I don't have the time, to be honest with you. So my apologies, because it's not going to stop. That's my native language, and it takes a while because it's not, I'm not the best in Yoruba skills either, so it takes a while. And sometimes I have to ask my mom, what's the translation of this in English? Yeah. So, but learn Yoruba language, Mr. Billy. That's all I'm saying. But that, my friend, I'm telling you, she's about to be fired because that's a client from that's a client not from hell but from somewhere. And yes, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, this will always welcome you to the most positive immigration space on social media, safest place to celebrate immigration victories and ask questions about new policies on immigration with the one and only. This is me, right here. Yeah, we're going to be stealing cows next. Now, if they say, if even caveman said the immigrants are stealing cows, because let's we can. If they say we're stealing cows, I'm not saying that's true, but because y'all know, especially if you grew up with those moms, like mom, I think she still does it. If you grew up with those moms where they have sisters or they have friends, and they go to those places where they have like those cows where they're, they really would. Can we say kill cows on this platform? I don't know. But anyway, they come together, they buy a whole cow, everybody shares it, everybody knows, if you're buying half of it, you're buying a quarter, because everybody has a deep freezer, they're going to stock the meat in for months to come. And there are a lot of places in the US where they do that too. So if he says that we were even stealing a cow, I didn't need Toros in there though, because there may be some truth to that. But cats and dogs, what happens when you, and congratulations to Miss Avena, her work permit was delivered today. After a sense, I'm telling you, I'm sure USCIS, especially the VA office, sometimes they'll see my email, like, especially the red font, like, oh no, not her again. Because our email, like, okay, you expedited something after we've already given you all these facts to expedite the work permit, right? And then you approve the expedite request, and we're still waiting for, like, what was the point of approving it? Like, so what's the point? The whole point should have, like, this lady, like, what is it? But anyway, the same day they decided we don't want to hear our mouth, and they approved it the same. So it was delivered today, so we can work, we can travel, the freedom that comes with that, really. And there's a whole lot of, obviously, I can talk, but that is. So congratulations, Ms. Sabina. And there was another one we're expecting, but God says it's not time yet. But I pray that we'll all continue to receive good news in everything that's pending regarding our immigration cases. Thank you, Ms. Mazala. Thank you for joining. Hello, Mr. Femi Speechless. How are you? Let's see. I'm telling you, if Vice President Harris was one who's, as a Black woman, is a convicted felon, Mm, we would not be saying the same thing. She wouldn't even smell the primary. Exactly, Empress. Not even close. Even those in the Democratic Party will probably be like, "I know that's not looking good for our party." It's like they would have shut it down at that level, let alone Let's. But listen, it is what it is. Empress says, "I just registered to vote. I'm even serving as a judge. God bless you." I'm registered to vote. My oldest kid, he's going to be. I can't believe my kid is going to be 20 in December. Like, yo, I have an almost 20-year-old kid. Like, we need what? So anyway, this is going to be his first presidential election that he's going to be voting in. So we're registered. We're going together, God willing. It's an exciting time because you're letting your kids know the importance of, my kid is American born. So don't take for granted the privilege that God gave us experience with to come and give you that, because you're still bloody Nigerians, you're just first generation Americans. So being able to exercise that right is exciting. So if you have kids also that are American citizens, please take them, go vote. Let's just all vote. Let's do it. Let's see. I love your silver forks hair color. Thank you. It's really, really, by a year from now, my hair is probably going to be completely silver. What do I want to do? It is what it is. So what can I say? It is what it is. Under what category do I check the wait time for I-485 after VA has been approved? I-485, the family-based category, and then it probably would probably put you, depending on your field office, or sometimes you can use all service centers. Hello, Mr. Adewale, how are you? Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to kindly check your email. I check my emails. I respond to emails within 72 hours. So if you sent me an email, it was today, then I still have plenty of time to do that. Hey, Mama. My mom is on. I did tell 60. Y'all say hello to my mother, the one who brought me into this world. That's what I tell my kids. I brought you into this world. I can take you out. Okay. I came into the United States since December 2023. Please, I don't know what to do, know how to go about my immigration status. I would like to contact your office. I've not taken any step. Tammy, our number is 334-341-4475. We have consultation options of 30 minutes, 140, 45 minutes, $210, and an hour, $250. But easiest way, so we're open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, Alabama Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Easiest way, however, is to go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com. That's the fastest way for you without having to wait. So we can talk about what options you have, especially if you're going to be eligible for asylum. You need to file that before your first year anniversary in the country. So just keep that in mind. Hello, Miss Timmy Raya. Is the processing time for USCIS filing for a spouse faster than if a green card holder were to file for a spouse? It's faster because spouses for citizens do not wait for visa numbers. However, when it depends on what the underlying petition is. So if you're talking about an I-130, yes, that's different. If you're talking about someone filing a VA case, it's the same as far as the processing time for the VA petition. So I hope that answers your question. If you have a 10-year green card through marriage and divorce your spouse before you become a citizen, then remarry, can you file for a green card for the new spouse when you become a citizen? When you become a citizen, yes, you're not subject to that 5-year rule anymore. I'm yet to file for my VAD case. Can I as well file for my child outside the country? If the child is under the age of 21, the child can be added to your VAD petition. Then when your case is approved and you file an I-824, asking USCIS to notify the embassy that you have a child that's going to be applying for an immigrant visa based on your approved petition. As a U.S. citizen, cannot file for my niece. If you adopt the niece, if you go through like family-based adoption or orphan adoption, something, but there's no category for niece. Let's see. Is your dress really $10? It is. Y'all don't think so? I'm my mother's child, and it has a pocket. That's and it, oh, see, and it has not even that because I love it. It's t-shirt material. Like it's not very stretchy, but it's not like constriction garment or something. And I really did buy it for $10 because I was not going to pay $40 for it. Not because I couldn't, but I just didn't think it was worth it. And I wanted to buy it in the 3 colors they had. So my calculation was $120. No, I'm not doing it. So the 3 colors I got for under what I would have paid for one just by waiting. I mean, and it's still summer weather in Alabama. So a win is a win. As Ms. Ellen Sanctuary said earlier on, a win is a win. So it is $10. It depends on, you can wear something that's $5. It depends on how you wear it. Someone can wear something that's $1,000 and you think it's $10. It just depends how you wear it. So a win is a win is a win. Hey, baby. Hello, finest Shandy. Academy, Miss Peggy. How are you? Grandma, everybody's saying good evening. Yeah, Banky, shut up, hello. Finest Shandy, my mom says hi. It's my mama. It's been 34 months for my VAD case. How long more I have to wait? Reason for my questions, because my work permit will expire. Then you can renew it. You can renew it, but it's taking 40 and a half months because I checked it today. Thank you for this. You gave us God keeper for us. Oh, thank you, Miss Peggy. Is she? Hey, Cookies, baby. How are you? Hello, Miss Busolami. How are you doing? Let's see. Can you repeat your contact number again? Miss Edna Sanctuary actually puts it on. She already did, but it's 334-341-4475. How long does a K1 visa take? And like I said, processing time, USCIS.gov /processing time. Does serving actively in the military help expedite bringing in your fiance? Being in the military, you can use that as a basis to expedite any petition, but obviously it's always good to have an affidavit and all, especially for someone who may be deployed anytime soon. They usually have that privilege. They give that preferential treatment to those in the military, and rightfully so. So yeah. Grandma is here. Good. Let's see. I need to bring my mom on one day. Yeah, my kid, I need to bring you on one day just to come. Y'all can't ask her about my childhood or anything like that, how I was. Besides, I already told you I was a tomboy growing up. So besides that, just leave it alone. My VAD got approved 6 months ago. Congratulations. A month after the VAD approval, I got RFE for my 693, which I responded to 45 days ago. I received another RFE turn in my I-864W, which I already responded to. So what's your question? Felix, what's your question? Okay. Let's see. We all understand the political game. It is what it is. Thank you for sharing this information. I'll be sure to join it. Thank you, Renisha. We'll look forward to seeing you. I haven't gotten any response from the field office. Just hang in there, you will. It's 42 days is not a long time at all. Some field offices, once you send in the 864W, not many of them don't even ask for that. The places that I've seen in New York, I've seen in Pennsylvania, New York. New York is notorious for asking for that. But the funny thing is, depending on the New York field office, depending on the field office in New York, there's some field offices, because New York has a number of field offices. There's some that never would ask you that, but there's some that are always going to ask you for an 864W as a valid petitioner. Pennsylvania is another state. I've never been asked for an 864. None of my clients in Texas so far have been asked for an 860. So it just depends. But 42 days is not a long time. I will tell you that. Nashville. So that's the first for me that I'm hearing in Tennessee. So it just depends on the field office, because the thing is, for me, is redundant. It's a waste of time. You already know a VAW petitioner is exempt from the affidavit of support. What is the point of telling them just so I can check I'm a VAW petitioner, I'm exempt? Like, just a bloody waste of time. It is their country. What can we do? I just got my private picture for VAW. I work as a teacher on H-1B. Will I get free tuition if I want to do my master's? I can't tell you whether or not, but you see what you can. I know you can apply for financial aid, but I can tell you if you can get free tuition. Okay, I think we got through a lot of questions. See how that went insanely good when I didn't have to sift through a lot of repeated questions. Thank you. I truly, truly appreciate that. How long does it take for? Okay, so USCIS.gov/present time. It's on the screen right here. Anything as far as besides the VAW case, you've got to go on that. The court terminated my proceedings. Can I travel on green card? If you were in court, I always say whoever your attorney was is in the best position to be able to give you advice on, especially when it comes to travel out after a termination of proceedings. Sometimes you have proceedings terminated, but you may still have a removal order that needs to be taken care of. It is not always straightforward when you've dealt with immigration court. So it's best for you to talk to your lawyer. Teamwork, exactly, Ms. Aveda. Absolutely, it just is. It's seamless. If you have 5 years working permit, can you travel to Nigeria? Your work permit for 5 years is not the same as your advanced parole. Helen, your work permit has to say serves as I-512 entry permit. If it says not valid for re-entry, that is your cue to know that is not the same as an advanced parole. So the 5 years working permit is not the same as a 5-year advanced parole document. In my asylum case, the mistake A checkbox, and now the judge thinks that is fraudulent. What's the bar? I can't talk to your case. Sit down with the lawyer to discuss that. I had an asylum case with my ex-wife and 2 children, but I divorced. But now I got I-130 approved. What happens with my asylum case? So if you were the principal applicant, I would assume that your wife filed hers, your ex-wife, and also ported your children over. If you were the beneficiary, derivative beneficiary, then you can let USCIS know that you want to come off that application because you're no longer a derivative beneficiary. I'm hoping you have a lawyer to talk to. If not, sit down with one so you know exactly what to do. Is it true that the EB green cards has improved the processing times? It's not the processing time, it's when you can apply for them. That's what we talked about today, Urshi. So if you go on YouTube, you'll be able to get replay what I talked about. That's exactly what we talked about this evening. Okay. All right. See, I really do appreciate when you guys do not repeat questions. That really is very helpful. You're welcome. That really is very helpful. Okay. That was really, really, really fast. Let's see. No, I can actually. Hello, Miss Sally. How are you? I think I sent you an email earlier. Thanks all for abiding by the rules. That's really, I mean, it just made it so. See how it flows, because it's always very, it's like, okay, I gotta sift through this. It just really makes it a lot easier. I don't know if you already answered the question because my network has been tripping, so I lost you for a minute. What was your question? My question was, how long does a K1 take? And yeah, I already answered your question, pretty Zara. So it said, as far as the processing time, go on USCIS.gov website. But as a member of the military, you're given that priority when it comes to them adjudicating your request to expedite. So you can always do that and see if that helps. If you got your 10 years green card through asylum in 2021, when is the appropriate time to file for citizenship? When you get your green card through asylum, usually it's backdated a year. As long as you've had that year, you've acquired that year since you became an asylee. So say, for instance, you file, you got your asylum status in July 2023, and then you file, and it doesn't get, your green card doesn't get approved until August 2024. Your green card that you get from asylum will have residence since July 2023 when you became an asylee, because that 1 year is counted towards your green card status. And so you count the 5 years to become a citizen from that July 2023 date. So sometime in 2020, just to give you an example. So I hope that, I hope that helps. Can a citizen bring the spouse who was formerly banned from coming to the U.S.? You're going to have to go through waivers and all that. So you can file for them. But then once you get to the immigrant visa application, then they would know exactly the reason why they can't come in, and if there is a waiver that they can file. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. This is lovely, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Is it good to have 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓 or my H-1B for teacher visa, which is good? It doesn't matter. H-1B is a dual intent visa, so you can actually double that as long as you don't violate your H-1B. You have a non-immigrant status that allows you to have a dual intent, simultaneously have another status, is what that is. So yeah. But anyway, thank you. That was really, really good. That was really amazing. Because, I love that. Because I used to be an adjunct professor for 4 years. I love teaching. I think that's why I love doing this. And that was what I was used to. Like just being able to flow with I usually had an open, but I couldn't keep up because it was just too much. It was just too much. It was like, auntie, really fishy. But anyway, so thank you everybody for joining. Like I said, it is good news for those who are waiting on the employment categories, because now October 1st, we can file quite a bit of green cards for quite a number of people. And they don't have to keep, because once USCIS gets your application, then at that point you don't have to maintain status. Always good to, unless you've got something in your record that may be a problem, but for the most part, most of we should be fine. Well, anyway, so y'all, is it just me, or do I think September is running as fast as August did? It's just what's going on. But we're still believing. We started this month knowing and speaking it into existence that it's going to be a month of uncommon favors and also accelerated blessings. So it's the 12th. We still have 18 more days for you to wake up on any of those days and see that what you thought was going to take you 200 is really fast, right? But what you thought was going to take so many months for you to be accomplished or to become a reality, you're just going to wake up, and the God of the sudden is just going to speed it up just like that. And whether it be your immigration case, whatever it is, if it's a job you're waiting on, if it's it's some whatever life transformation you're looking unto God for, we all have that moment of our lives in the quiet of our minds where we put it before the altar of grace. So this month, just believe that whatever it is that you have placed before God, He's going to give you accelerated blessings, that it's going to be manifested faster than you think. Doesn't mean it's going to not be at the time he destined it to be, but it's just going to be, you're not going to be waiting forever because you've been waiting for quite a while. So just trust and believe that things are going to work out in your favor. That uncommon thing, that blessing, that favor that looks like it should not be, because by calculation, by our own human imagination and human calculation and understanding and comprehension, it doesn't make sense. It should not add up. That's where God steps in, and things don't have to add up for God, because that's why it's God, right? It doesn't have to add up. If we understand how God works, then we would not need God. But because He is, how great a privilege to serve a Creator that created Himself. That's the kind of God that I want to worship. When you have a God that created Himself, how much more whatever it is that concerns you, that concerns me. So we will keep agreeing in faith that whatever it is, uncommon favor, yes, in Jesus' name, Miss Tamika, I agree in faith with you. Accelerated blessings. So just keep believing. We're all going to come back together, gather here again on September 30, and God willing, we're speaking into existence, and we're decreeing, declaring that we would have even much more testimonies to give, and be able to share those uncommon ways that God has indeed met us at the point of our needs. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.